Bitcoin and XRP have both had rough years, but with less than 5 months left in 2026, the question is starting to get interesting. Which one has the better chance of finishing the year strong? Bitcoin is currently trading around $63,000 after starting the year, near $89,000. XRP is hovering around $1.06 after beginning 2026 near $1.88. So both are down significantly. But the catalysts that could bring them back are very different. For Bitcoin, the big story is still institutional money and the Federal Reserve. The Fed is currently holding interest rates between 3.5 and 3.75%. Its next major decision comes in September. If the Fed stays neutral or starts signaling easier monetary policy, while Bitcoin ETF inflows strengthen again, that could give BTC the fuel it needs to break out of this $60,000 range. One recent forecast puts the base case Bitcoin target around $75,000 by December. A stronger scenario where ETF demand really returns and monetary policy becomes more favorable could potentially send Bitcoin back toward $95,000 to $100,000. But there is obviously a downside scenario too. If institutional money starts leaving again and the Fed becomes more aggressive on inflation, Bitcoin could revisit the low to mid $50,000 range. Now XRP is a completely different story. XRP is sitting barely above the psychologically important $1 level. And one of its biggest upcoming catalysts is the Clarity Act. The Senate has already filed cloture on the motion to proceed with the bill, and that motion is scheduled to ripen on September 15th. So September could become extremely important for XRP. If the legislation starts making real progress and institutional interest in XRP ETFs improves, one bullish scenario has XRP recovering toward $2 before the end of the year. A more moderate target would be around $1.50. From current levels, even that would represent a pretty significant move. But if regulatory progress falls apart again and XRP loses the $1 support level, the bearish scenario gets ugly pretty quickly. Some forecasts have XRP potentially falling towards 75 cents. So if I had to simplify the entire situation, Bitcoin has several potential catalysts: ETF demand, Fed policy, institutional accumulation, and the broader macro environment. XRP may have more explosive upside percentage-wise, but right now its near-term setup is much more dependent on regulatory momentum and whether buyers defend that $1 area. And whichever side of the market you are interested in, one app that makes managing all of this much easier is Best Wallet. Best Wallet is a non-custodial multi-chain crypto wallet that gives you one place to buy, store, swap, and manage supported cryptocurrencies. I especially like it for people who are starting to look beyond Bitcoin and XRP into newer crypto projects. Instead of constantly jumping between different wallets and platforms, Best Wallet makes it much easier to explore emerging projects and manage multiple assets from one app. Projects like Bitcoin Hyper and Liquid Chain are two examples we have been following recently, and I have links to both in the description if you want to research them yourself. Those are obviously much earlier stage and significantly riskier than Bitcoin or XRP. But Best Wallet makes getting into newer parts of the crypto market much less complicated. It is non-custodial, so you maintain control of your crypto, and it combines multi-chain support with security features and a pretty straightforward interface. If you are trying to manage established coins while also researching newer projects, that convenience alone can make a big difference. The Best Wallet link is also in the description, but going back to Bitcoin versus XRP, September could tell us a lot. Bitcoin has a Fed meeting coming. XRP has a major Clarity Act procedural vote coming, and both could enter the final months of 2026 with a very different setup than they have today. So which one finishes the year stronger? Bitcoin at 75,000, XRP at $1.50, or do both surprise everybody? As always, do your own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose.